For the last 4 decades, Severna Park High School here in Maryland has turned out some of the best field hockey players and teams in the United States, winning more National Federation state championships than any other school. But in the year 2010, members of this high school took on a very bold experiment, letting the boys play for a change. Since 2000, the off-season club of choice for Severna Park High School, plus a number of other local high schools, is the Spark Hockey Club, which trains here at this facility in Odenton, Maryland. Over the course of the decade of the 2000s, some 800 girls have come through the program. But in the winter of 2010-2011, thanks to an initiative put together by Spark, the DC Dragons Hockey Club, and the U.S. Field Hockey Foundation, Spark coaches Jesse Larson, here wearing the gray, and Lee Swinscoe, here wearing the black, started training high school boys, almost all of whom were Severna Park High School students. While the game was new to these boys, the coaches were looking to take advantage of the exposures they had playing other sports.
In field games, in field invasion games such as soccer and lacrosse, where you're trying to cross into another territory and put a ball into a spot, then ideas such as passing lanes, creating space for one another, holding a defensive structure, those ideas transfer very readily across the 3 sports of hockey, lacrosse, and soccer. And so when you get a kid that's been exposed to any one of the 3 sports, when they come into the new sport, it's just a question of giving them the skills as individuals that they can then manipulate the ball and use the tactical concepts that they already know from the other sport. So a lot of these kids, they understand when we say create space for one another. They understand they need to either lead or take a defender away. When we say get deep, they understand it's in that part of the court. So now for us, the challenge is just to give them the technical skills so they're able to execute the ideas that they already have and know would work.
The Spark team eventually grew to enough players that it could form 2-hold indoor field hockey teams, or enough for plenty of subs when it played a friendly against the DC Dragons in January of 2011. The Spark team drew a number of players, such as freshman Tyler Haskell, a goalkeeper.
Well, for me, it was really just natural, just being aggressive towards the ball, and just, I don't know, if the shot's going in, it's always just going as hard as you can and diving for the shot if you have to, or do whatever it has to stop the ball.
The Spark program not only benefited from some legacy players within families at Severna Park, but also from some creative recruiting from members of the Severna Park field hockey team.
Our boys team, it was generated by the girls. The girls were the recruiters. They were the ones that got their brothers, their boyfriends to come and play, and we were able to pass on some knowledge.
One of the beneficiaries of that knowledge is Severna Park junior Paul Beleza. Beleza's older sister Hannah was one of the all-time grades at Severna Park, and now at Cornell University. His younger sister Marissa is a sophomore on the team, and has already won a state championship with Severna Park. Here, Paul is scoring a drag flick.
And he'll come up to me and after his training, he'll be like, do you know what can I do to make my drag flick better? And just ask me little things and tips what he can do to make himself better. And sometimes he'll go out and practice with me, or even for outdoor, he'd come out and do drives and just dribble around, because he really likes it. So
well, it basically had the movement and how everybody moves around and ball passing, because that's from soccer, it's basically the same, but I guess just passing and whatnot.
The thing is, not many guys at Severna Park, they just kind of look at it oh, that's a girl sport. Even in America, everybody's just that's a girl sport. But now that guys are trying indoor, they're starting to like it. Even the guys who really try it, they love it and they keep coming back. So that might show the guys that they can play.
But about a month before the National Indoor Tournament held here at the Greater Richmond Convention Center, the makeup of the Spark team changed. That's because spring practices for Severna Park sports started the very weekend of the National Indoor Tournament. Haskell, however, says that the experience of not having everybody from the practice actually being in the tournament brought the team closer together.
it definitely has, because it separated the people that were really dedicated to it and actually wanted to play from people that are just there to mess around. And I mean, I play lacrosse, so I'm in practice right now, and one of the big issues of whether I was going to this tournament or not was if I was gonna mess with lacrosse. And since it didn't interfere with lacrosse at all, I was able to come to it.
The Spark boys, however, found it difficult against the other 3 teams of the National Indoor Tournament. Some of these teams were all-star teams who had junior national team members on them. Spark, here in the red, finished without a win here in pool play, but Larson believes he knows what will continue the popularity of indoor field hockey with high school boys in America.
The best thing for these guys would be to have another club that's doing the same thing, and a bit of a rivalry, competitive rivalry that will drive us both to higher heights and improve our game. I mean, it's fun to play against each other, but you want to have those games against a club that's next door, that guys you don't quite know that you want to beat for a little bit of pride. And so if we can get the numbers in both clubs up, I think that'd be fantastic for the sport.
So even though the result may not have been what the players had wanted, Larson and Swinscoe have seemed to have lit a spark under boys field hockey in the United States. For TopOfTheCircle.com, this is Al Matei in Richmond, Virginia.